Today, I'm gonna teach you something that all the pros do that you might be missing. And I'm gonna play two different things, and I want you to tell me if you can hear the difference. So after you hear this, what do you think it was different? It wasn't the playing, it wasn't the chords, because I played the same chords the whole entire time, but what was different, it was the feel of the piano. This can be for a lot of people be missed a lot of the times to say, I'm playing the same sound that you are playing, but your sound's way different. It's because that people is adding a different touch and a different feel to the piano. Some people call it feel, some people call it touch, some people call it dynamics, velocity, volume, expression. It's so many ways that you can call it. But for this video, we're gonna call it all together, we're gonna blend it, and we're gonna call it feel. In this video, that's what we're gonna talk about. The different ways that you can approach the different feel and the different touch, depending, of course, of the sound, and depending of also what keyboard you are playing. So, let's get to it. So for me, the feel is so important. I mean, it plays a huge factor when it comes to having the right sound at the right time. And what I mean by that is that sometimes people will ask me, dude, what piano sound you have? What kind of pads you're having? Well, I use the same exact sound and it doesn't sound the same. Well, it's because a lot of the times, myself especially, I focus a lot on the feel of the piano. Every piano, depending on the piano that you might play in a Nord, you might play in Sunday keys, you might play in the Yamaha, you might play whatever you play. But it has to do a lot with the feel that you're adding. Not only piano sounds though, but also your pads, also your strings. It doesn't matter what you play. A lot of it has to do with the feel of it. But for this video, I wanna focus on the Rhodes. I have some Rhodes sounds from Sunday keys. And the main reason why I have that sound is because one, is one of my favorite sounds to play, but two, it adds a lot of expression. And by expression and feel, I feel like the body to it. But if you play in a grain, if you play in softer, it adds that very warm, but if you really slam it, it adds a very cut through. But I pick Rhodes because it adds that bitiness to it. And as you guys can see here, I can play the piano, the Rhodes, very soft. And it doesn't add any bitiness to it. Very warm-ish, right? But now, I'm gonna try to add a little bit more of that bitiness to it. You guys be able to hear that very bite to the Rhodes as soon as I add a little bit more expression to it, a little bit more feel to it. So just if I play one note, you guys can hear the difference between that. And that's the importance of playing with the feel. Another example of these sounds is the well-known Ionic Yamaha DX7. This one also has a lot of dynamics to it. So I'm gonna play the same progression, but I'm also gonna add some bitiness to it. I probably will play the first time just very normal. Don't add any dynamics, any feel to it. And then the second time, I'm gonna add some bitiness stuff so you guys can hear the difference. Now I'm gonna add some dynamics. So as you guys can hear there, you can hear a difference between just playing very soft and also adding some velocity, some feel to it. This is not only comes when it comes to piano sounds. This is also implemented in synths, strings, pads, whatever you play also, that also adds a feel to it. So I'm gonna take the Rhodes out and I'm gonna bring this pad that have a lot of velocity to it. And so I'm gonna play very soft and you will see how just by playing it soft, it has a less attack, it has like more smoothness. Then I'm gonna really slam the keys, add dynamics to it. You guys are gonna be able to hear the difference between the soft dynamic and feel to the very hard feel to it. Very smooth. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of expression to it. Take a little bit less. Add. Go. So just the difference between one chord to the other by adding feel, it sounds a completely different sound. And by this, you can just have one sound, but make it sound like 2 or 3 sounds, just by the way you feel the piano. And that's the importance of like just not go there and play and slam the keys, but start feeling the song. If it feels like it needs to be quieter, then you approach a little bit quieter with your feel. But then as the song increases and the intensity goes up, then your feel goes up too as well. But now I'm gonna take you to another context of like adding a sound that doesn't add any feel to it. You might ask like, whoa, but you have played 3 sounds already and they all add expressions. Well, there's some that doesn't have any expressions and you can adjust those as you go. Add an attack, release, whatever. You can go more deep into those details. But here in the Sunday Keys app, I have a pad that doesn't respond at all to any expressions feel to it. But this sound is very good when you're gonna have a sound like the Rhodes behind you, that you want that sound to be the expressive, the one that you feel. But these pads, it doesn't matter how hard you play, they will stay at a good level, they won't bite as much, but they will also add texture to it and have that background to your sound that you want to bite. So here's just a pad by itself. And I'm playing as hard as I would with the Rhodes to add dynamics to it. But it all stays at one level. But this sounds just perfect when I want to add the Rhodes. Then I can have that sound behind me. Doesn't bite, but I know it's there and it adds texture and background to my sound. So I'm gonna bring the Rhodes up, dial this a little bit back, and now say, well, I don't hear the pads. Well, if I bring the Rhodes down, they there. And I know they there. I just don't want it very present. I want it to be able to stay in the background with me, but how my Rhodes sounds will be the primary sound to add that feel and touch to it. So again, as you approach these sounds, as you approach your sound designing, soundscaping, this is a different approach that you have to make sure that you have in the front of you when it comes to adding feel to it. Depending on the song. Some songs are funkier, you wanna add more. Sometimes are calmer and you wanna add more warm stuff. Don't plug the keys too hard. But again, this is all depends of the feel of the song, the feel that you have. Some people might have to add a little bit more of attack, more compression because they are very slammers like me to keep everything at a good level. But again, this video is just to make sure that you understand how important it is to feel the piano as you play. But one big thing to take into consideration is that not only that you have to like, yes, it sounds great, but one of the things that the pros do is that they sit with the piano and they study the piano and they feel the piano. For example, this keyboard is 88 keys, but it's weighted. Some keyboards are semi-weighted and some keyboards have no weight at all. You might ask yourself, like, what is weight, Isaac? Well, some keyboards are meant to not to respond as much as a weighted keyboard will, or like maybe a semi-weighted keyboard will. And that's when it comes down for yourself to sit with the piano that you have, do your homework, play it with the sounds that you have, play with the sounds that the piano has, and feel to it. As you create your sounds, as you explore the different approaches to different songs, understand the keyboard that you are playing with. And if you're using the Sunday Keys app, you can adjust how sensitive the keyboard is in the settings. I hope this is helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, and I can't wait to see you soon. See ya.